Hello everybody, it's me, V. As you all know, my videos are intended for an older audience. They're not made for children. So let me share with you what I did. Now, I had come across this swap on Instagram. It is being hosted by Lacey Hefner, who's the Cheeky Bum, and she's also on YouTube, and she's an amazing crafter. And what caught my attention was the title. The title of the swap is Witch Please. And I was like, oh, and so as I read it, I was like, oh, that's right up my alley. I love witches. I decorate with a whole bunch of them. I've gone as a witch, different witches, several times for Halloween. Not last year, but the year before. I dressed my grandchildren as witches. The teenagers weren't too happy, but then by the end of it, they liked it. We took a cauldron. We had smoke bombs. It looked like the cauldron was coming out. People kept stopping. They thought it was so cool. Lately, we've been doing these, like they did the pumpkin head. They did the ghost with the sheet on it. And then they did the witches. And this is what I did for my swap. And so we could either make one or two. I did make one for you, Lacey. And so they're all the same. And so I'll leave a little note so that you'll know. And for this swap, the requirements, again, you could make one or make two, get one and get two back. I made two, one for Lacey as well. Now for the requirements, we had to make a layered memory decks, minimum of 5 layers. A sequin mix, a beaded item or a bead mix. We had to make a set of embellishments. And for these embellishments, they had to be witchy items, witchy themed. So we had to make a set of potion bottles, a set of brooms, a set of cauldrons, and a set of witch hats. As far as the packaging was required, we had to package them in a witchy way. We had to do either a cauldron, a hat, a boot, a spell book, whatever you had that witches have. And so this is what I did. The swap, there was no sign up, and we had to get it out by October 6th. But Lacey, thank you so much for extending it to the 11th, which is Saturday. It's got to go out Saturday. And I just finished it today on Thursday. But I work the best when I am running behind. Now, unfortunately, I ended up getting the flu. I had to go to therapy for my back. All these die cuts ended up re-injuring my rotary cup. I was like, oh, gosh. And then I did have some terrible news on my twin sister. And so I've been dealing with that. So it was kind of nice to get away for a second. Not that you can get away from this, but that to craft. And so that flu really got me. Boy, it was over 2 weeks. I couldn't do anything. And so I'm going to share with you, first of all, what I used to create these items. Now, I'm going to move this. This is how it is coming packaged. I just added some string and stuff there. And I will share with you what I used for it. Let me move this out of the way. I just want it to hopefully hold that up and give the packaging something to hold on to. I'm going to take a little sip of my water. Thank you. Excuse me. So for the actual swap, I'm going to share with you what I used. First of all, the container. My packaging that I put it in. I did use Scrap Diva's Witch Boot Tote. And you can find her at Scrap Diva. I think it's Scrap Diva Designs or scrapdiva.com. Anyway, this is the cutest little boot. It's from last year. And I did make one last year, but I sent it to my sister. And then I never used the dye again. So for this swap, it was the perfect thing. So I used that. I did use for my memory decks. I believe this is a KS Craft spider web memory decks. And what I did, I believe it was the pink ape. If not, I'll go back and look and try and link it down below. But she had laminated it, and I thought, oh, that's really good because, you know, it'll make it more sturdy. And so that's what I did was I cut out this, and then I laminated it. I also, for the words, these are the new KS Craft words for Halloween. I did order some other ones from Scrap Diva, and then there was another one. But sadly, I did not get them in time, and this did come. So it's if the broom fits, fly it. If you've got it, haunt it. Creep it real. Happy haunting. Trick or treat. And witch, please. So that was perfect. I did use for my cauldrons, my set of cauldrons, I used this, and I think I got this off of Temu. Or maybe it was Allie. Oh, yeah, ZF Party off of Allie. And I used this, the cauldron, and I used the stick for the stirring stick. And I used, was it that one? No, I believe I used a different potion that was going over. The other thing I did was I have this cauldron. And what I did was I only used the top portion of it to make the steam come out. And again, that either came from Ellie. I believe it was Ellie, not Temu. So I used that as my cauldron embellishments. In the cauldron, I only use this little hand. And I normally write on the back of these, but I've been slacking. I used only the little hand, and I believe this came off of Allie. Either Allie or Temu. The hand for inside the potion. The other thing I did was... Oh, that's maybe it right there. No, that's it. For also on the cauldron, I used this, and I didn't write on it either. I used the fire off of this cauldron, and there's where I used the potion. And I want to say this is either Ellie or Temu. And then for the set of witch hat embellishments, I used My Creative Times witch hat bag topper. And then for the, oh, I did not bring that other, did I put it in here? Let me see. Maybe I didn't bring it in here. Oh, yes, I did. It's right there. For the potion bottles, this was off of Temu. And I used this bottle right there for one of the potion bottles. And the other potion bottle, this was from a lady off of Marketplace. And I believe this is a KS Craft. And I used just the pumpkin and the outline of it for the shakers. And then for the brooms, the only thing I used was this KS Craft shaker broom, and I only used the handle. So, the other thing for my actual memory decks, have y'all seen the movie? I'm sure many of you have. Halloween Town. Downtown, we have a gigantic mosaic pumpkin. I wish I'd have printed a picture of it. I took the grandkids and made them get out there and so I could take pictures of it. But I love going by there all the time. And I love the movie Halloween Town. So I have bought in several of these haunted houses off of Temu and Ellie. And this was one of them. And the roof is a witch hat, so it was perfect. And that's the memory decks. And what I also used on the cauldron was the grass and the little cat. And you'll see that here shortly. This is I believe, either a lady that I used to order from years ago on a Facebook group. If not, it's either Ally or Timu. But I got these jars. I'm not a card maker by any means, but I wanted to try and make a witch's potion bottle card. And so I use this large one, but I only use this part. And it does cut this out. And so you'll see what I did with it. And so that is what I used for my card. And then for some of the stamped images, this is the ZF Party stamp set. And it's got one that's Witch's Brew. And so I did use that. The other thing I use for the inside of the card is this stamp. Just a friendly little greeting to wish you happy trick-or-treating. And for my little tag with my information, I use this little one. And I think this came from Hobby Lobby a long time ago. And it's Smell My Feet. And of course, it's a little witch. And so now, let me share with you my actual project. Only took me 11 minutes to go through that. Sorry. Isn't this cute? And let me take everything out. So where's the card? There we go. Okay, I did put a little, well, I'll get to that in a minute. So here is the Witch Boot jelly tote bag from Scrap Diva. I also used this little tool that I have, and I just did a running stitch up through my machine and gathered it, and I thought it looked really cute. I used this paper for the handle, a glitter paper, I think from Hobby Lobby a long time ago, and I just used purple and black cardstock, but I wanted to bring that together kind of. And right there, as you can see, it says, "Witch, please." I used purple, black, and orange crepe paper, and I gathered it and made a flower. I cut it down to different sizes, and then there are the flowers I added in the center, and this resin pumpkin. And my tags, my tag flip, sadly, this doesn't open very wide, so I could not stick my items in between each tag. So you'll see I had to put them on the sides. But there is the jelly tote. So cute. So then what I did for goodies was my daughter took me to Bed Bath, or no. Is it Bed Bath & Beyond? No. Body Works. Bath and Body Works. And they had these, and the glitter keeps getting on there. But I have to keep wiping it off. But I thought this was so cute. It's Candy Apple Cauldron. So, see, there's the glitter. So there's an extra little goodie for everybody. I did put a little treat in the bottom so that everybody could have a little sweet treat. The other thing I did was, this is my... where I stamped that little image, and it's just a little name card, nothing grand. And oops, I did it backwards. There's all of my information, so it'll be in there. And then this is where I tried to attempt to make a card to look like a potion bottle. I used this little black gemmy that I had in my stash. I added some of the twine up there, and the card or the bottle, when it cuts out, it cuts the inside out, and it's just that. So I had to fold over a piece of paper, put it on the edge so that when you cut it out, it wouldn't cut up here. And so what I did was I just put different shades of cardstock inside, and I lined it all in white. There is where I put the little greeting, the little stamped image, and there's my little makeshift card. For another little goodie, I created one of these little candy bags right here. And it's got another little plastic resin witch hat in there. And it's got sequins and stuff like that. And then on the side, it says brew. For part of the actual embellishments, we had to create a beaded item. And Lacey, or no, I'm sorry, not Lacey, Tamika Morris was selling some beads, and I did purchase some from her. And so I used the beads, and she had this really cool witch in there. And so I did make a little keychain for her. And then I used this. There's the stamped image again. Another little resin, or not resin. Maybe it is resin. But that is where I did my set of sequin mix. And inside there is all of my sequin mix for, I'm sorry, I keep getting, it's got to be about my sister. So let me finish this up real quick. So there is that. And then now I'm going to share with you what I created as far as my embellishments go. So of course, here is the tag flip. I was not able to put my items in between due to the width of the bag. So they're on the side of the bag. But when you go into a haunted forest, you come across the witch's cottage. And so on my memory decks, and I'm going to peel it off. There is where I laminated the spider web memory decks. On top of that, I used some of this little creepy cloth back here. I call it creepy cloth. It looks creepy. It's kind of stiff and stuff. I added some sequins. On top of that, I added this rosette. And there is the witch's cottage. On the witch's cottage, I added pumpkins on the side from a different die. I added this little cauldron with some little potion on top from a different die, as well as this one that says Witch's Brew. So that is not part of the little house die. And as you can see on top, a soul is escaping that she has cooked in her cauldron. And so there is the little witch's cottage. And on the tag itself, that's where I used one of the words, happy haunting. So there is the witch's cottage. Here's where my witch hats are. And I'm going to take one of them off. I did struggle with the older removable glue dot. And so I had to go to Walmart and get a different one. I think mine were just too old. So on a couple of them, I just stamped it so you wouldn't see my little mark on there from the glue. But I didn't pull this one out. But this says, witchy, witchy, screamy, screamy, happy, happy, Halloweeny. So that's on the back of every one. And so there, I used the bats off of one of them dies. I think it was from the little house die. And the spider web. And there's where I did the hats. I added spiders, some bling. And on this one, if you've got it, haunt it. And so I did these in green and purple. And again, this is just a tag I got from Ellie a long time ago. And that is what is holding all of my embellishments. Here's where I did the broom. Now, as I said, I only use the handle of the broom to make my broom. And this is, if the broom fits, fly it. I use some old vintage crate paper streamer, and that is what I made my brooms out of. And I use this green little fuzzy hair piece. I cut some off of it and added that to it. I added a little star sticker and then some more of the jute cording. For the next one, this is where I did my shakers. And on this one, it says, creep it real. And I hope this sticks. There's where I did the pumpkin. And they are shakers. Let me peel one off. On the inside, no, I'm so sorry. The Dollar Tree had these sequence stickers. And so what I did was I peeled them off. I added a little bit of baby powder so that it wouldn't be sticky. And I stuck them in. It kind of reminded me of a pumpkin seed. And so, but of course, this one is putrid pumpkin potion. So she just scoops it out. The spoon on here is from my creative time. And see, that's where I just used the pumpkin. I did use some orange vellum paper. On the next one, inside there are some actual spiders and stuff, but I used a piece of dark vellum from Michael's this year to put on the top. And again, there's my cauldron, and it's trimmed spider hair. That also came from that stamp set. Was it on this one? Yes, right up there, trimmed spider hair. And so I just added that and some more of that cording. So there is that bottle. And I hope these stay on there. They're not doing a real good job. The next one are my cauldrons. And let me peel that off of there. This one, it says, witch please. And there is where I used the grass, where I used the fire, the cat, the stick to stir it, the steam coming from the potion mix. And of course, you can see, Fred in there. We're going to call him Fred. He shouldn't have gone into the forest. There's a spider web and a spider. And for the cauldron, I used this glitter paper, but the one inside is a very thick, textured glitter paper. And so that's why it sparkles differently. And then on the top, when you fill it, you'll see that spooky material I used. And so there are my cauldrons. And then, oops, I went one too many. As for the tote bag, I think I said this, it comes with this little tag, and I added a witch. And so there are my Mamdex and my embellishments for the swap, and my beaded item and my sequin mix. So I hope that you all, my swappers and my viewers, enjoy watching my video. And this is what I mean by I have to tuck it all in this way because it doesn't all fit in between. And so that's okay. I still love this little jelly tote. It's adorable. And then again, my little tag with my information. And then my little card to my swap partners. So everybody, let me know what you think down below. Hopefully I did an okay job considering all I had going on. But everybody have a wonderful day. And I will be back with my other swap that is also due Saturday, which I only have today and tomorrow to get done. But I hope you do come on back and see what I did. Plus, I have a really cool little haul. And normally I don't share hauls, but I thought this was really cool. So come on back, everybody, and we'll talk with y'all later. Bye.